Welcome to the Dansportstips NFL and NCAA football preview show. We're looking at week 1 of the NFL season, week 2 of the college football season. I'm going to start with the NFL games this week. I'm just going to run through a few games, handicap lines that I'm going to be taking this week, and then I will run through the picks for the college football games. The first game I'm looking at is the New Orleans Saints hosting the Oakland Raiders. This is the first test of one of the off-season darlings, the Oakland Raiders. There is no doubt that this Saints defence is horrible. The Raiders should be able to put some points on the board. I remember a few years ago, rookie quarterback RG3 going into the Dome on the road, beating the Saints in what was unthinkable to me that day. New Orleans are always very good at home. You don't get an easy win there. When you combine this with the fact that the Raiders are heading across country to play in an early kickoff, I think they're going to fall short in what could be a shootout and fail at the first hurdle in their quest for relevance this season. The line is -1.5, and I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints -1.5. The Cincinnati Bengals go on the road to the New York Jets. The absence of Tyler Eifert for this offense would normally be a concern. When it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals, he is a big red zone threat, especially when you consider receivers Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones headed out the door in free agency as well. It does leave AJ Green maybe a little isolated, but the rookie Boyd is certainly getting a lot of hype in the receiving game for the Bengals. But with the heart of the Jets' defensive front also leaving the Jets in free agency, I think you'll be able to run on the Jets a fair bit easier this year than you would last year. And the Bengals do have a handy little 1-2 punch in Hill and Bernard, and will be able to control this game if they get a lead, and I think they will. Even if AJ Green takes a trip to Revis Island, there is a lot more room on Revis Island than there used to be. He's getting older. He's nowhere near the dominant corner he used to be, and I would take AJ Green, who is one of the best receivers in this league, against Revis at this point. Road favourites are not a play I often make, but I do like this spot against the New York Jets, and I'm going to make the play on the Cincinnati Bengals, giving -2.5 points on the road to go into New York and get the win. In the matchup of the bottom feeders, if you like, the Cleveland Browns and the Philadelphia Eagles, you've got Philadelphia starting rookie Carson Wentz, his first game playing against the team, the Cleveland Browns, that actually passed up the opportunity to draft him back in April. With the talent on these rosters, I think it favours the Eagles overall. But if you're going to give me over a field goal against a rookie quarterback on their debut, especially a rookie quarterback that's been out injured for the majority of their first preseason, thank you very much. Give me the Browns and RG3 +3.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. The other game that I'm playing is going to be Detroit and Indianapolis. The Colts, whose defense is far from great already, have got some issues in the secondary. Vontae Davis, who is one of the better cornerbacks in the league, is probably out for this game. That takes easily the best player from this unit that was already not strong overall. And while Calvin Johnson doesn't play for the Detroit Lions, having retired anymore, I actually quite like the 1-2 punch that they've got with Golden Tate and Marvin Jones in the receiving game. This team was really good the second half of the season after Jim Bob Cooter came in at offensive coordinator. Stafford improved under Cooter as well. The game does profile as a shootout. I think both teams will be going up and down the field. The total's high though. I prefer to take the Lions with the points. I think it will probably be a close finish. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions win the game on the road in Indy outright. Give me the Lions +3. The other game I was looking at is the Sunday night football game, New England and Arizona. I love Sunday night football. It's my favourite game of the week, every week. It's the best produced programme. There's no distraction of any other games. You can just focus in on the one game and enjoy it. There's no way in hell that I was going to take 6 points against the New England Patriots, even without Brady, with any team in the Garoppolo Bowl. But my issue, as initially I was going to take the Patriots +6, is I'm now seeing reports that Gronkowski is probably not going to be playing in this game as well. He was going to be a huge security blanket for Garoppolo. He's a massive part of the offense anyway. I know they've got Martellus Bennett, but say what you like about Marty B, he is not Gronk. The line's already moved to 7. I'm going to leave this game alone now. I will maybe be back on Sunday with another show. These are the 4 sort of official handicap line plays. There might be some like touchdown scorers, totals, things like that. I mean, totals I'm leaving till I see weather forecasts and things like that. So check back on Sunday for more NFL. With the college football this week, obviously it's going to be Saturday tomorrow, or today, depending when you're watching this. As I say, I do have ratings that I use for the college football. I compile it all. It gives me a strength of anywhere between 2. I do occasionally do 1 point plays for moneyline plays, but 2 and 7 points. 7 points is a strong play. You won't see many of them. The majority of the plays will be 3, 4, and 5 points. That's how I come up with my selections, is compiling the ratings. They generally get stronger as the season goes through. Obviously, we didn't have the greatest week last week. We went 3, 6, and 1, staking 45, returning 27.7 points. So we did have a losing week. On to this week, there are quite a lot of plays. TCU and Arkansas, I think the total at 58.5 came up quite high in my ratings. I'm going to play 3 points on the under in that game. In Pittsburgh and Penn State, unfortunately the lines moved from 6 to 4.5. At 6 it would have been a stronger play, but I'm going to play 2 points on Penn State plus 4.5, but it does look like a low scoring game to me. The total of 48 looks on the high side. I'm going to have 4 points on under 48 points in Pittsburgh and Penn State. Arizona State and Texas Tech, this has got upset. I mean, look, it's a small line, so it's not exactly a crazy call, but it's got upset written all over it. Arizona State are 2.5 point favourites for Texas Tech in what should be quite a high scoring game. I'm going to take 3 points on Texas Tech plus 2.5 against Arizona State. I'm also going to put a couple of points on the money line for Texas Tech to win. The total at 79.5 is in the right area. I'm going to play slightly under. I think it's probably going to come in closer to sort of the 77 mark. I'm going to play 3 points on the under 79.5. Kentucky and Florida, the line's too high at 15.5. 3 points on Kentucky plus 15.5 against Florida. They always played them hard. Went to like 3 overtimes a couple of seasons ago. And I'm going to play over 49.5 because I think there will be more points scored in this game than that line reflects. Utah against BYU, the Holy War. It's Utah minus 3.5. I think Utah will win this game by at least a touchdown. I think they're a better team than Brigham Young this year. Tennessee were horrid last week, just squeaking by. It was Appalachian State, wasn't it? I think. I'm going to take Virginia Tech with the points plus 11. 11 looks too much to me in this, so I'll take VTech plus 11. I'm also going to put 4 points on under 53.5 points in this game because Tennessee's offense did not impress me last week. Another high line is USC giving 16 to Utah State. I'm going to take the points with Utah State, 3 points Utah State plus 16 against USC, and I'm also going to throw 3 points at the under 59.5 in that game as well. Another game that I'm going to take an underdog, Illinois. Lovie Smith's Illinois against North Carolina. Again, North Carolina did not impress me last week. I'll play 3 points on Illinois getting a touchdown. I think the Illini will certainly give North Carolina a game there. I'm going to play under 58.5 points, 3 points as well in that game. In San Diego State against California, I do keep flip-flopping on the handicap line. It's at a touchdown. What I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to play California on the money line just in case, because this game could well be an upset. You know, the Pac-12 team there, Cal. It's a big game for San Diego State. It's a big game for both teams. I'll put a couple of points on Cal on the money line, and I'm going to play under the points. 61 is the line. That looks a touch high. I think it's mid to high 50s rather than getting to 60. I'll play 4 points on the under. Western Kentucky against Alabama. This is my bet of the week. You had the big opener last week for Alabama, which obviously they've won. They beat USC. Another big game next week, sandwiched in between. You've got the game against Little Western Kentucky, and they're a 4 touchdown favourite. I'm going to put 4 points on Western Kentucky, plus 28 points in this game. Love that play. UConn against Navy. I'm going to have another moneyline play here. I think UConn can win this game against Navy. So I'm going to play UConn to beat Navy on the money line. And I think it looks low scoring as well. Certainly Navy like to run the football. It burns a lot of clock. So I'm going to play under 44.5 points is the line in that game. I can certainly see a 21-17 sort of score line in that game. Oklahoma State against Central Michigan. I'm going to play the dog here as well. Texas look all right. They're playing the UTEP this week, the University of Texas at El Paso. I'm going to play Texas to cover this line. It's a big line at 30, but I'm not sure UTEP are going to get many points against that Texas defense. So I'm going to play 3 points on Texas minus 30. Speaking of another one with a big line, Miami, Florida against Florida Atlantic. I'm going to play a couple of points on Miami, Florida, minus 24.5. Purdue against Cincinnati. This is a massive game for Purdue. If they can't get up for this, they're not going to get up for a game. It's their biggest game of the year. They're a 6-point dog. I'm going to put 3 points on Purdue plus 6 against Cincinnati. And the final game, I can't believe Army are an 8.5 point favourite against pretty much anyone, to be honest. I know Rice aren't exactly great, but when are Army favoured against anyone? I'm going to take the points there as well. Rice plus 8.5, 2 points to beat Army. Those are my college football plays. The ACCA of the week this week is going to be Rice plus 8.5, UConn plus 4, Western Kentucky plus 28, Kentucky plus 15.5, and Utah minus 3.5. You see the prices on the screen. Those are the college football plays. As I say, check back weekly for the NFL and college plays. I should be back on Sunday with another show, just with like maybe some touchdown scorers and side markets, that sort of thing for the games. Best of luck if you're playing on those. Let's have a good day enjoying the college football, and I'll see you next week.